We're only 4 books into this series, and it's not the first book to have an inaccurate title. This book isn't about Elizabeth having to pick between her sister and her best friend. Elizabeth doesn't even consider taking Jessica's side. Which is for the best. As a general rule, you should always be rooting against Jessica.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Jessica and her friends want to be cheerleaders, so they're starting a booster club. School rules say they have to have open auditions. The auditions are a joke. Jessica, Lila, Ellen, and Janet are the judges, and they already picked the 4 winners. Jessica complains because most of the girls who signed up for auditions are gross and disgusting. Jessica can barely handle looking at fat Lois Waller or skinny Leslie Forsythe. How can she handle being in the same room as them for a 10-minute audition? Jessica includes Amy Sutton on the list of girls she hates because Amy is a klutzy tomboy with bad hair. When Elizabeth defends Amy, Jessica doubles down on her complaints. She basically says, "I hate your best friend. I want to vomit whenever I see her." And then Jessica gets confused when Elizabeth is upset. That's just chapter number 1. Whew, what a bad way to start the book. Amy has a trick up her sleeve. She's secretly great at the baton. She's been practicing for weeks. For reasons that aren't explained, Amy pretends she can't use the baton. She purposely drops it during the first audition. The other story of the book is basketball tryouts. Ken Matthews wants to play, but he's worried he's too short. Elizabeth loves giving people inspirational pep talks. She convinces Ken to try. The tryouts go badly as Bruce Patman makes fun of Ken the whole time. The coach puts too much pressure on Ken because he remembers Ken's father was a great player. Ken wants to quit tryouts, but again, Elizabeth convinces him to try. Elizabeth helps Ken by getting him a lesson with her older brother Stephen. She also has the idea to practice with a tennis ball. That helps Ken's aim. Bruce sees Elizabeth and Ken together. He teases them, saying they're boyfriend and girlfriend. That's just silly. Everybody knows Ken's girlfriend is Barbie. Jessica is mad because Ken is a geek. It's bad for Jessica's reputation if her sister is friends with a geek. Jessica begs Elizabeth to lie to everyone and say she doesn't like Ken. It's funny to read this because in the main Sweet Valley series, Jessica starts dating Ken because he's a football star and she is incredibly shallow. Amy and Ken start to become friends. They both inspire each other by refusing to give up in the face of tough sports tryouts. Ellen and Lila call Amy. They tell her she shouldn't come to the second tryout. She'll just embarrass herself in front of everyone. When Amy refuses to quit, the unicorns get mad. They decide they have to do something to stop Amy. In the last book, the unicorns framed another student for crimes. This time, they use a mostly harmless letter prank. They write a letter from Ken telling Amy she should quit the auditions. Amy instantly realizes the letter's fake, because no way would the real Ken and Elizabeth talk about how awesome the Unicorn Club members are. Ken gets a fake love letter saying Amy loves him even though he's short. Ken is not as smart as Amy, so he doesn't realize the letter is fake. He starts avoiding Amy and Elizabeth, much to Jessica's delight. In the bathroom, Elizabeth overhears Ellen and Lila bragging about the fake letters. They laugh because they have a special prank for Amy at the tryouts. Elizabeth rushes to tell Ken and Amy about the letter prank. She tells Ken that he is good and he's gonna pass the tryouts. She tells Amy she's bad and she's going to fail the tryouts, so she should quit. Wow, Elizabeth! Why does she believe in Ken but not her best friend? She knows Amy is secretly good at the baton, so it's not like she can use ignorance as an excuse. Many girls don't return for the second day of cheerleader auditions. Elizabeth wonders if the unicorns bullied other girls into dropping out. I'd say probably, yes. I find it pretty sad that the unicorns successfully bullied most of the girls in school, and this only gets a passing mention. The first round of cheerleader tryouts has a sudden death elimination format. If you drop your baton, you automatically lose. Only 7 girls make it past this round. In the next round, you have to lead a group cheer and do baton twirling. The unicorns prank Amy by making her cheer for Ken. Ooh, she's cheering for her crush. Even worse, the unicorns step backwards instead of dancing with her. At first, Amy looks silly doing a cheer by herself, but she gets really into it, and she wows the crowd with her secret baton routine. She cheers so well that Ken is inspired. He steals a basketball from Bruce and scores! The entire school starts cheering. Ken makes the basketball team, Amy makes the cheerleading squad, and as usual, the unicorns are not punished for bullying kids. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book feels like it was originally written for the main Sweet Valley High series. The only thing missing is Amy and Ken kissing at the end of the book. Jessica, Elizabeth, and the others match their high school personalities more than their middle school personalities. Granted, there's not a huge difference between high school bad boy Bruce and middle school bully Bruce. Like last book, this one tries to redeem Jessica by having her be absent for most of the bullying episodes. I would have believed Jessica is a good person if she hadn't spent the first chapter complaining she hates ugly people. That firmly established her as an unlikable villain. It was also weird to read that right after reading the last chapter of Book 3, where Jessica is sincere in her belief that anybody with talent is welcome in her cheerleading group. These chapters were clearly written by different people. I'm not sure why the unicorns were so insistent on having Amy drop out before the second audition. They could have done a normal audition and just picked their 4 friends as the winners. I know they want to make it look like they're giving everyone a fair shot, but they sort of sabotage themselves by switching to a sudden elimination format just to get rid of Amy. Overall, it was better than the last book. Jessica is meaner, but the unicorns are nicer. The storyline with Ken is decent enough, although it's weird Elizabeth supports Ken more than her own best friend. It's also weird that Amy lets Elizabeth look down on her, instead of revealing her secret plan to do a baton routine at the tryouts. I give Sweet Valley Twins number 4, Choosing Sides, a 6 out of 10.